Hello friends, I'm here with another festive do-it-yourself project. Today we're going to try to make a homemade DIY fog chiller. Now I've watched a lot of people on the interwebs make these things. Some are very simplistic, some are very complicated, perhaps overly complicated. I'm going to take everything I've learned from watching other people do it and create my own hybrid version that's simple but hopefully effective, and we're going to see how it works right now. I've got this black tub from Walmart. It was less than $10. It's already black, so I don't have to paint it. The idea is going to be to create a hole on one side to blow the fog in, 2 holes on the other side to send the fog out. We're going to use various lengths of PVC pipe to bring the fog in and out of the box. Let's go cut some right now. Alright, so let's cut our spouts, I guess you could call it, and our intake. I'm going to make a real short piece for the intake, just real short, maybe like that. There's my intake. Now I'll make my 2 outputs, or nozzles, or whatever you want to call them. I'll make them 2 different lengths, and then so the fog comes right out at the base of the cooler and also further out from the cooler. Again, I'm just guessing, so it doesn't really matter. What we're actually going to try today is 2 different size PVC output tubes so that we could send the fog further out into the yard and pretty much right at the end of this tub. So we'll get like 2 feet-ish out and a couple of inches out, and I'm hoping it'll spread that fog out a little bit more across my decorations. Now of course I could probably go longer than this, maybe even create holes, but the idea is to keep this simple and quick, and this is what we're going to try for today's simple and quick fog chiller. Let's get started. First things first, I'm going to use this little guy as the nozzle. I'm going to put it up high. Some people use PVC pipe to attach their fog cooler down here, and then they run pipe up to the top of the cooler. I say, bollocks, too much work. I'm going to put it up here at the start, and then just put the machine on top of some wood or books or on some kind of something, so the machine physically sits up here and I don't have to run any tubing inside the container. It's easier, it's cheaper, and it's easier. So to make the holes, I'm going to use this 2-inch drill bit and an impact driver. You could probably do this with any electric screwdriver or power drill because it's just soft plastic, but I'm going to use this because it's what I have. There it is. Nice. It cut out a perfect hole, which I'll add the PVC to later, and I'll probably set my drill to a stronger setting for the next holes. But you want to be gentle because it is plastic. You don't want to tear it up. Let's hot glue this in. I'm using my glue gun on low. That way it's cooler and thicker, not as runny. It'll set and become firm quicker to help keep this in place. It'll also help me to build it up and make it real thick, just to make sure that it's totally sealed and no air and fog can escape. Alright, there's my PVC intake pipe. It's an ugly mess of PVC and hot glue, but that's okay. Looks have very little to do with this project. By the way, if you're having trouble getting the glue deep down into the bottom of your PVC pipe, you're really struggling, you can't quite figure out how to really get under there, I'm going to teach you professional tricks right now that you might not realize how to do it. There you go. No problem getting the underside of that pipe glued up nice. Get all the angles in there real good. Make sure you don't miss anything. Piece of cake. Aren't you glad you had me? Next up, 2 bottom holes. One might be enough. We're going to do 2. One for a short and one for long. All the way to the bottom. Don't drill it through your hands. Alright, 2 awesome output holes. And what we're going to do with these holes is we're going to put one longer pipe to send the fog out a little further, and one shorter pipe to send the fog out right away. Now you might want to make these differences a little more extreme than I did, but that's better than nothing. Because this piece is very long and heavy, it's going to sit on the floor. There's no way you're going to hold it up with hot glue. So I'm just going to take a piece of synthetic wood and glue it right there as a stand. And you could use a sponge or a piece of rubber or a piece of regular wood or whatever you have. I happen to have synthetic wood laying around, so I'm going to glue that on and turn it into a little leg to keep the pipe upright. I'm going to glue it on while it's in place. That way I know it's right where I want it. Alright, the only thing left to do is put the cover on. Now some people talk about their covers leaking, so they put all kinds of weird stuff all over the top of their bins. What I got, weather strip seal. It's basically a foam tape that you'd use on your door or your windows. And I'm going to use it right here on the top of this bin. It's literally the perfect size. You're going to get the real small stuff. There's thick stuff and there's thin stuff. You're going to want the thin stuff. It's 3/8 inches wide and it's absolutely the perfect width. And would you look at that? A perfect seal to keep your smoke and fog and whatever from escaping. Your awesome new fog chiller. Costs like $3 for this roll. Now for those of you familiar with adhesives and tapes, it doesn't have full strength right away. So you let it sit for a bit and the adhesive on this will set and become more secure. If you're right away, it might just start to peel off. But that's it. The next thing you do is fill it with the ice bottles and put the cover on it. Now, some people on the interwebs, you'll see dumping bags and bags of ice into their cooler. I'm going to try something a little different. I got a case of bottled water from Walmart. Costs like $2 for a 24 pack. It's ridiculous. So I got 2 cases of these. All right, so here's my box freezer. In here I have a case of water. And I'm adding my second case of water right now. Once these are all frozen, I'll fill up the machine and we'll test it out. Okay, we froze our bottles.
Nice frozen bottle.
And now it's time to put them in our fog chiller. So now we have a huge pile of frozen bottles of water. How many? Like 30?
Roughly.
Maybe like 30. The idea is that the fog has to pass through the ice and then get out there. So I'm kind of putting them a little more towards the front because it would take about 9,000 bottles of water to fill up this thing. So there you have it. Fog in, through the ice, out here. Let's try it. Okay, there it is. As you can see, it's working. The fog is staying low to the ground. It's coming out the pipes exactly as intended. Very pleased. Fantastic. Okay, so clearly our low-lying fog chiller worked with my homemade fog juice, and you might have noticed that there is absolutely no fog whatsoever coming out of the lid. So the window sealing tape worked also. The machine we used was the 1000 watt Home Accents from Home Depot. That did a fantastic job too. So overall, a very low cost fog chiller, fog juice, fog machine, and low-lying fog creation. Success!